Without further ado, we are getting into Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. Let's get through here. Chapter 1. I vaporized my algebra teacher. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading this because you think you might be one, my advice is close this book right now. Believe whatever lie your mom or dad told you about your birth, and try to lead a normal life. Being a half-blood is dangerous. It's scary. Most of the time it gets you killed in painful, nasty ways. If you're a normal kid reading this because you think it's fiction, great. Read on. I envy you for being able to believe that none of this ever happened. But if you recognize yourself in these pages, if you feel something stirring inside, stop reading immediately. You might be one of us, and once you know that, it's only a matter of time before they sense it too, and they'll come for you. Don't say I didn't warn you. My name is Percy Jackson. I'm 12 years old. Until a few months ago, I was a boarding student at Yancey Academy, a private school for troubled kids in upstate New York. Am I a troubled kid? Yeah, you could say that. I could start at any point in my short, miserable life to prove it, but things really started going bad last May, when our 6th grade class took a field trip to Manhattan. 28 mental case kids and 2 teachers on a yellow school bus heading to the Metropolitan Museum of Art to look at ancient Greek and Roman stuff. I know, sounds like torture. Most Yancey field trips were, but Mr. Bruner, our Latin teacher, was leading this trip. So I had hopes. Mr. Bruner was this middle-aged guy in a motorized wheelchair. He had thinning hair and a scruffy beard, and a frayed tweed jacket which always smelled like coffee. You wouldn't think he'd be cool, but he told stories and jokes and let us play games in class. He also had this awesome collection of Roman armor and weapons, so he was the only teacher whose class didn't put me to sleep. I hoped the trip would be okay. At least, I hoped that for once I wouldn't get in trouble. Boy, was I wrong. See, bad things happen to me on field trips. Like at my 5th grade school when we went to the Saratoga battlefield. Sorry. Like I said, this is my first reading. I'm probably going to trip over my words a bit. I had this accident with the Revolutionary War cannon. I wasn't aiming for the school bus, but of course I got expelled anyway. And before that, at my 4th grade school, when we took a behind-the-scenes tour of the Marine World Shark Pool, I sort of hit the wrong lever on the catwalk, and our class took an unplanned swim. And the time before that, well, you get the idea. This trip, I was determined to be good. All the way into the city, I put up with Nancy Bobofit, the freckly, red-headed kleptomaniac girl, hitting my best friend Grover in the back of the head with chunks of her peanut butter and ketchup sandwich. Grover was an easy target. He was scrawny, he cried when he got frustrated. He must have been held back several grades because he was the only 6th grader with acne and the start of a wispy beard on his chin. On top of all of that, he was crippled. He had a note excusing him from PE for the rest of his life because he had some kind of muscular disease in his legs. He walked funny, like every step hurt him, but don't let that fool you. You should have seen You should have seen him run when it was enchilada day in the cafeteria. Anyway, Nancy Bobofit was throwing wads of sandwich that stuck in his curly brown hair, and she knew I couldn't do anything back to her because I was already on probation. The headmaster had threatened me with death by in-school suspension if anything bad, embarrassing, or even mildly entertaining happened on this trip. I'm gonna kill her, I mumbled. Grover tried to calm me down. It's okay, I like peanut butter. He dodged another piece of Nancy's lunch. That's it. I started to get up, but Grover pulled me back to my seat. You're already on probation, he reminded me. You know who will get blamed if anything happens. Looking back on it, I wish I'd decked Nancy Bobofit right then and there. In-school suspension would have been nothing compared to the mess I was about to get myself into. Mr. Bruner led Bro, hold up, pause. Because I'm going to be doing commentary on this as well. There's quite a few things we need to cover in those first few pages. We're only on page 4. First off, coldest intro to a book ever. That intro is absolutely amazing. Second off, the fact that Percy was called out by his headmaster of this fancy, school for the troubled. These schools make bank. These schools are, expensive, highly funded schools most of the time. And Percy is known by the headmaster. That's a special type of attention. I need a backstory of all the different instances, Percy did some stuff at previous schools. I need that compiled into a book, from the point of view of a 9, 10, and 11-year-old. What do these circumstances look like? How do you explain to a 12-year-old, 11, 12-year-old, that you're expelling him because he blew up a bus with a Civil War cannon, or a Revolutionary War cannon? Come on now. What's it called? And then Percy's a real-ass friend. Percy said, F the gender roles, I will hop up out this chair and punch this curly, freckled redhead straight in the jaw for my homeboy. That is a real one. Get you a friend like Percy. No wonder this boy's fatal flaw is loyalty, cause damn. Anyway, we were on page 4. Where were we? Here we are. Alright. Mr. Brunner led the Mr. Brunner led the museum tour. He rode up front in his wheelchair, guiding us through the big, echoey galleries, past marble statues and glass cases full of really old black and orange pottery. It blew my mind that this stuff had survived for 2,000, 3,000 years. He gathered us around a 13-foot tall stone column with a big sphinx on the top and started telling us how it was a grave marker. A stele. S-T-E-L-E. I don't know if if a word like that applies to, the English rule, where it's, if there's one consonant in between two vowels, it's, the long sound. So it's, steel, or if it's... I think it's steel. I don't know. I'm not sure. But here, let me see if I can, get the page... why is it showing up backwards for you guys? But it's, right... here. It's this word right here. Wait, is my finger on it? Dude, it's showing backwards and it's throwing me off. Anyway, steel, you get the point. You understand the concept. It's a grave marker. It's an ancient grave marker. Alright, continuing. Started telling us how it was a grave marker, a stele, for a girl about our age. He told us about the carvings on the sides. I was trying to listen to what he had to say, but it was kind of interesting. But everybody around me was talking, and every time I told them to shut up, the other teacher chaperone, Mrs. Dods, would give me the evil eye. Mrs. Dods was this little math teacher from Georgia who always wore a black leather jacket even though she was 50 years old. She looked mean enough to write a hardly right into your locker. She had come to Yancey halfway through the year when our last math teacher had a nervous breakdown. Gee, I wonder what could have caused that. Hades! From her first day, Mrs. Dodds loved Nancy Bobofit and figured I was devil's spawn. Ironic choice of words. She would point her crooked finger at me and say, "Now, honey," real sweet, and I knew I was going to get after-school detention for a month. Let's be real. Everybody has had a teacher like that, like the sweet old lady math teacher that was absolute Satan spawn. Everybody's had a teacher like that, and it's always the math teacher. Bro, you cannot change my mind. Math teachers, 9 times out of 10, are awful. If you're gonna have an awful teacher, they're probably going to be a math teacher. Like, they're going to be awful. Everybody has had a Mrs. Dodds in their life. Everybody. Just a teacher that was as cruel as can be and would just have the sweetest old lady routine but would pick you out just to pick you out. If you know a teacher like that, or if you hate a teacher like that, show them this clip. Nobody likes you. Everybody hates you. Everybody. There is not a student you have ever taught that has a single nice thing to say about you. Even the students that you favoritize are going to say, oh yeah, she favoritized me but was totally cruel and a bitch to everybody else. Nobody likes those type of teachers. And if you have a teacher like that, like I said, show them this clip. Well, it's summer vacation now. But when you go back to school, if you end up with a teacher like that, save this clip and show that to them. Forget them type of teachers. Literally awful. How are you going to try and be an educator, but you going to hate on your students? Matter of fact, how are you going to be a grown adult with a college degree getting paid scraps, getting paid pennies, and you're going to decide to hate on kids? Like, you're 30, 40, 50 plus years old, and you're out here crapping on 12-year-olds. Get a life. Get a life. God. Freaking awful. Hate them type of people. Anyway, moving forward. Alright, let me see. Oh, here we go. One time after she'd made me erase answers out of old... One time after she'd made me erase answers out of old math workbooks until midnight. Bro, could you imagine having to deal with that crap? Not just from, like, I don't know, 7:30, 7 o'clock to, like, 2 or 3 something. Imagine having to deal with that all the time because you live in school. If you're one of those people that goes to, like, a live-in schooling academy, bro, my heart goes out to y'all. Because, oh my God, I could never be me. I don't have the patience. Anyway, I told Grover I didn't think Mrs. Dodds was human. He looked at me real serious and said, "You're absolutely right." Mr. Bruner kept talking about Greek funeral art. Finally, Nancy Bobofit snickered about something. Snickered something about the naked guy on the steel, and I turned around and said, "Will you shut up?" It came out louder than I meant it to. The whole group laughed. Mr. Bruner stopped his story. "Mr. Jackson," he said, "did you have a comment?" My face was totally red. I said, "No, sir." Mr. Bruner pointed to one of the pictures on the steel. "Perhaps you'll tell us what this picture means." What this picture represents, What this picture represents. I looked at the carving and felt a flush of relief because I actually recognized it. That's Kronos eating his kids, right? "Yes," Mr. Bruner said, obviously not satisfied. "And he did this because..." Well, I racked my brain to remember. "Kronos was the king god, and God?" Mr. Bruner asked. "Titan," I corrected myself. "And he didn't trust his kids, who were the gods. So, Kronos ate them, right? But his wife hid baby Zeus and gave Kronos a rock to eat instead. And later, when Zeus grew up, he tricked his dad, Kronos, into barfing up his brothers and sisters." "Ew," said one of the girls behind me. "And so there was this big fight between the gods and the Titans," I continued. "And the gods won." Some snickers from the group. Behind me, Nancy Bobofit mumbled to a friend, "Like we're going to use this in real life. Like it's going to say in our job applications, 'Please explain why Kronos ate his kids.'" "And why, Mr. Jackson?" Bruner said, to paraphrase Miss Bobofit's excellent question. "Does this matter in real life?" "Busted," Grover muttered. "Shut up," Nancy hissed, her face even brighter red than her hair. At least Nancy got packed too. Mr. Bruner was the only one who ever caught her saying anything wrong. He had radar ears. I thought about this question and shrugged. "I don't know, sir." "I see." Mr. Bruner looked disappointed. "Well, have credit, Mr. Jackson. Zeus did indeed feed Kronos a mixture of mustard and wine, which made him disgorge his other 5 children, who, of course, being immortal gods, had been living and growing up, completely undigested in the Titan's stomach. The gods defeated their father, sliced him to pieces with his own scythe, and scattered his remains in Tartarus, the darkest part of the underworld. On that happy note, it's time for lunch. Mrs. Dods, would you lead us back outside? The class drifted off, the girls holding their stomachs, the guys pushing each other around and acting like doofuses, as 12-year-olds do. That wasn't part of the book. As 12-year-olds do was my thing. Let's be real, though. Dude, those old middle school field trips were the best, dude. I remember in the seventh grade, me and my 7th grade class took a field trip to Washington, D.C. to go see the museums and stuff. One of the greatest field trips ever. Unfortunately, so if you know anything about the D.C. museums and stuff, in the American History Museum, it's over by, like, the History of Cinema exhibit. Like the History of Cinema exhibit, they had the red ruby slippers from the Wizard of Oz. Unfortunately, they weren't on display when I was there. They were receiving some sort of like treatment or like cleaning, or they might have been like how museums will send certain like portable exhibits off to other places on displays, like fundraising things or whatever. It might have been out someplace else, but in place of that, they had a whole bunch of other stuff, like American pop culture stuff. I got to take a picture with, I want to say it was Mike Tyson's gloves from his fight with Buster Douglas. I might be wrong on that, though. I got to take a picture with the hat and bullwhip from, was it? I want to say Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was either Raiders of the Lost Ark or the third one. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, the third one, and then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. What's the third one? Why am I forgetting this? What was the third Indiana Jones movie? I'm dying over here. What was the third Indiana Jones movie? I remember it was Raiders of the Lost Ark was the first one. Last Crusade. Thank you. Jesus Christ. I kept thinking, I was like, I knew it had to do with the Holy Grail. It was something to do with Crusades. I don't know why I struggled with that so much, because it's one of my favorite Indiana Jones movies. But, no, you didn't miss anything, Noga Lily. I mean, I don't know how long you've been gone for, because trying to read this and then trying to read comments and stuff is really difficult. So I'm trying to, let me think. Did I miss anything? Literally reading along with you. This is pretty cool. Awesome, Mayhem. Awesome. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Mayhem brings up a good point. If you guys have your books, go grab your books and read along with me. That's awesome. Anyway, alright. Okay. Okay. How much do I like burgers? I mean, depends. It depends on the burger. If the burger is good, the burger is good. But mine is in French. Did we go international? Do I have people from other countries here? Or do you just speak French enough to read a book in French? Hold up. Weird listening in English and reading in French? Is this an international stream right now? Am I like out? Bro. That's awesome. I know my... Holy shit! Oh my god. French, Scotland, Canada, the Middle East, Austria, Irish, from the West Indies. Dude, holy shit. Like, I knew my TikTok was international, but that's not... Glasgow? Glasgow. I've heard of that. Do I? I think I know somebody from Glasgow, but I'm not 100% sure. But, dude, oh my god. Michigan and Illinois. Hey, that dude, if you're in the United States, hey, still, thank you for coming through. I did not realize that, I didn't realize that my Twitch stream had gone international yet. Hawaii, dude, Texas, oh my god. Well, thank you guys from coming, like, literally, dude, that's insane. Oh my god. Thank you guys. TikToks are that guy. I appreciate that, Mayhem. I do. I appreciate that. Alright, let's get back into this. Alright, where'd I leave off? Hold on. I lost my spot. Give me a second. We're using our $2 bill here for a second. Oh, here we go. Grover and I were about to follow when Mr. Bruner said, "Mr. Jackson." I knew that was coming. I told Grover to keep going, and then I turned toward Mr. Bruner. "Sir?" Mr. Bruner had this look that wouldn't let you go. Intense brown eyes that could have been 1,000 years old and had seen everything. "You must learn the answer to my question," Mr. Bruner told me. "About the Titans, about real life, and how your studies apply to it." "Oh. What you learn from me," he said, "is vitally important. I expect you to treat it as such. I will accept only the best from you, Percy Jackson." I wanted to get angry. This guy pushed me so hard. I mean, sure, it was kind of cool on tournament days when he dressed up in a suit of Roman armor and shouted, "What ho!" and challenged us, sword pointed against chalk, to run to the board and name every Greek and Roman person who had ever lived and their mother and what god they worshipped. But Mr. Bruner expected me to be as good as everybody else, despite the fact that I have dyslexia and attention deficit disorder, and I had never made above a C. Above a C- in my life. No, he didn't expect me to be as good. He expected me to be better. And I just couldn't learn all those names and facts, much less spell them correctly. I mumbled something about trying harder, while Mr. Bruner took one long sad look at the steel, like he'd been at this girl's funeral. He told me to go outside and eat my lunch. Dude, hold up! 'Cause it is entirely likely that Bruner was there for this girl's funeral. Who was this girl? Did Bruner know? I want to know that now. Like, who was this girl whose steel they were looking at? Did I brush over that? Because it just said that it was a girl about her age. Well, about Percy's age, I mean. So about 12. Doesn't say a name. It's just... So wait, 13 foot... I feel like we should be able to piece this together using context clues. 13-foot tall stone column. Okay, stone column. A big sphinx on top. I feel like that's important. How it was a grade marker, a steal for a girl about our age. So about 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. Sphinx on top. And a grave marker. That's scratching my brain like I should know this. I feel like this is a myth that I should know. I don't know. I'm going to figure that out. Make a TikTok. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely making a TikTok about that. Alright. Alright. Let's get back going again. Alright. The class gathered on the front steps of the museum, where we could watch the foot traffic along Fifth Avenue. Overhead, a huge storm was brewing, with clouds blacker than I'd ever seen over the city. I figured maybe it was global warming or something, because the weather all across New York State had been weird since Christmas. We'd had massive snowstorms, flooding, wildfires from lightning strikes. I wouldn't have been surprised if this was a hurricane blowing in. Nobody else seemed to notice. Some of the guys were pelting pigeons with Lunchables crackers. Nancy Bobofit was trying to pickpocket something from a lady's purse. And of course, Mrs. Dods wasn't seeing a thing. Oh, yeah, I feel like I should explain this for the people that don't know. What's the word? The book describes Nancy as a kleptomaniac when we first read about her. Like, they call her a kleptomaniac. Oh, wait a minute, what the heck? Redeemed, highlight my... Did someone just donate? Is that what that little thing is? I don't know. I'm still working on that. Cause I don't have a PC and Twitch is really weird getting it set up on console and on a mobile phone. Channel points. What does that do? That's not a money thing, is it? Y'all don't have to pay me. You do realize that, right? So wait, it's not a money thing. It's not a money thing? Because it's highlight. No, it's not, my man. We get it from... Okay, because I was going to say, please, 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 do not spend money here. Get for sitting in your chat and watching. Alright, cool, yes. But I appreciate that. By all means, I appreciate you guys watching and, spending those channel points here. But, I don't have anything set up for, like, bits yet. I'm still working on that. I need to get access to a computer that actually moves in a speed slower than reverse, because all I have right now is this old Chromebook that it doesn't move fast at all. It's literally the slowest computer I've ever had the displeasure of using. But yeah. Okay, but yeah, if you earn it through watching, that's great. Just please, please, please do not feel the need to donate money to me. That's not necessary. Alright. Anyway, what I was saying about kleptomaniac. Megacles. I know that myth. I know that. I've read that name before. Megacles. I definitely feel like I've read that name before. I'm gonna have to Google that. I'm definitely gonna have to Google that. But, yeah, the word kleptomaniac means... Okay. Okay, so maybe it's this, like you said, maybe it's the one of Megacles. But, yeah, a kleptomaniac is someone that's obsessed with, like, stealing. It's like, I don't know, it's like a compulsive thing for them. Like, they can't help but steal. That's what a kleptomaniac is. Anyway. So that's why, like, Nancy's, like, pickpocketing people and stealing them while she's in a school for the troubled. So, yeah, kleptomaniac, yeah, it's stealing. Anyway, Ms. Dods wasn't seeing a thing. Here we go. Alright, halfway down page 8. Alright. Grover and I sat on the edge of the fountain, away from the others. We thought that maybe if we did that, everybody wouldn't know we were from that school. The school for loser freaks who couldn't make it elsewhere. Detention? Grover asked. Nah, I said. Not from Bruner. I just wish he'd lay off me sometimes. I mean, I'm not a genius. Grover didn't say anything for a while. Then, when I thought he was going to give me some deep philosophical comment to make me feel better, he said, "Can I have your apple?" I didn't have much of an appetite, so I let him take it. Again, a homie. I watched the stream of cabs going down Fifth Avenue and thought about my mom's apartment, only a little ways uptown from where we sat. I hadn't seen her since Christmas. I wanted so bad to jump in a taxi and head home. She'd hug me and be glad to see me, but she'd be disappointed too. She'd send me right back to Yancey, remind me that I had to try harder, even if this was my 6th school in 6 years, and I was probably going to be kicked out again. I wouldn't be able to stand that sad look she'd give me. Mr. Bruner parked his wheelchair at the base of the handicapped ramp. He ate celery while he read a paperback novel. A red umbrella stuck up from the back of his chair, making it look like a motorized cafe table. I was about to unwrap my sandwich when Nancy Bobofit appeared in front of me with her ugly friends. I guess she'd gotten tired of stealing from the tourists and dumped her half-eaten lunch in Grover's lap. Oops, she grinned at me with her crooked teeth. Her freckles were orange, as if somebody had spray painted her face with liquid Cheetos. That's such a 12-year-old thing to say. Because I know Rick, obviously, Rick told these stories and then eventually wrote the books for his 12-year-old son, and he was an English teacher. I wonder if he pulled some of these insults from his 12-year-old or from, his students, because these are definitely, 12-year-old insults. These are definitely insults that, a middle schooler would, sling at somebody. For sure. I could definitely imagine, my 12-year-old self telling somebody that their freckles look like spray-painted liquid Cheetos. Anyway. I tried to stay cool. The counselor had told me 1,000,000 times. Count to 10. Get control of your temper. Bro, if I could count the number of times teachers, counselors, whatever, had said that same sentence to me, I hate counting to 10. I hate that shit now. But I was so mad my mind went blank. A wave roared in my ears. I don't remember touching her, but the next thing I knew, Nancy was sitting on her butt in the fountain, screaming. Percy pushed me! Mrs. Dodds materialized next to us. Some of the kids were whispering, "Did you see? The water. Like it grabbed her." I didn't know what they were talking about. All I knew was that I was in trouble again. As soon as Mrs. Dodds was sure poor little Nancy was okay, promising to get her a new shirt at the museum gift shop, etc., etc., Mrs. Dodds turned on me. There was a triumphant fire in her eyes, as if I had done something she'd been waiting for all semester. "Now, honey, I know," I grumbled. "A month erasing workbooks." That wasn't the right thing to say. "Come with me," Mrs. Dodds said. "Wait!" Grover yelped. "It was me. I pushed her." Grover coming through for the boys, bro. Grover, I love Grover so much. The fact that Grover doesn't get more, like, in-book time, doesn't get more time, and the fact that we never got a Grover POV will forever be a knife between my ribs. I love him so much. I love Grover. I will die on the hill that Grover is one of the greatest side characters in all of fiction. I love Grover so much. Call me biased, but I love that curly-haired, goat-legged child. I love him, even though he's like 40. I forget what his actual name is, but I love Grover. Yes, Hope, absolutely. A book about his pan adventure? Fuck all that. Give me a book about Grover, Juniper, Tyson, and, Ella. Give me a book about Grover, Juniper, Tyson, and Ella. Just all four of them. Just a book all about them. I want it. I need it. I need that, big fella. I need it. Okay. Excuse me. Anyway. I stared at him stunned. I couldn't believe he was trying to cover for me. Mrs. Dodds scared Grover. Excuse me. Oh, wait. Excuse me. Ate lunch before this, that way I wouldn't get hungry on stream. So, burps. Excuse me. I couldn't believe he was trying to cover for me. Mrs. Dodds scared Grover to death. She glared at him so hard his whiskery chin trembled. "I don't think so, Mr. Underwood," she said. "But you will stay here." Grover looked at me desperately. "It's okay, man," I told him. "Thanks for trying." "Honey," Mrs. Dodds barked at me. "Now." Nancy Bobofit smirked. I gave her my deluxe "I'll kill you later" stare. Man, my boy Percy was working on the wolf stare before he even met Lupa. What are you talking? He's like, "Oh yeah, Lupa trained me to give this stare to people that would be like, ooh, scary, whatever, intimidation." Bro, my boy Percy was working on that shit since age 12. My man been working on that death stare straight. Alright. Then I turned to face Mrs. Dodds, but she wasn't there. She was standing at the museum entrance, way at the top of the steps, gesturing impatiently at me to come on. How'd she get there so fast? I have moments like that a lot, when my brain falls asleep or something, and the next thing I know I've missed something, as if a puzzle piece fell out of the universe and left me staring at the blank space behind it. The school counselor told me this was part of the ADHD, my brain misinterpreting things. I wasn't so sure. I went after Mrs. Dodds. Halfway up the steps, I glanced back at Grover. He was looking pale, cutting his eyes between me and Mr. Brunner. Like he wanted Mr. Brunner to notice what was going on, but Mr. Brunner was absorbed in his novel. Relatable. Excuse me. I looked back up. Mrs. Dodds had disappeared again. She was now inside the building at the end of the entrance hall. Okay, I thought, she's gonna make me buy a new shirt for Nancy at the gift shop. But apparently, that wasn't the plan. I followed her deeper into the museum. When I finally caught up to her, we were back in the Greek and Roman section. Except for us, the gallery was empty. Mrs. Dodds stood with her arms crossed in front of a big marble frieze of the Greek gods. She was making this weird noise in her throat, like growling. Even without the noise, I would have been nervous. It's weird being alone with a teacher, especially Mrs. Dodds. Something about the way she looked at the frieze, as if she wanted to pulverize it. Page turn. You've been giving us problems, honey, she said. I did the same thing. I said, yes, ma'am. She tugged on the cuffs of her leather jacket. Did you really think you could get away with it? The look in her eye. Oh, excuse me. Gotta adjust the attitude for here. This is getting more serious now. Did you really think you would get away with it? The look in her eyes was beyond mad. It was evil. She's a teacher, I thought nervously. It's not like she's going to hurt me. I said, I'll try harder, ma'am. Thunder shook the building. We are not fools, Percy Jackson, Mrs. Dodd said. It was only a matter of time before we found you out. Confess, and you will suffer less pain. I didn't know what she was talking about. All I could think of was that the teachers must have found the illegal stash of candy I'd been selling out of my dorm room. Or maybe they'd realized I'd got my essay. Excuse me, Jesus, I'm gonna have to get water in a second. Okay. Or maybe they'd realized I got my essay on Tom Sawyer from the internet without ever reading the book, and now they were going to take away my grade. Or worse, they were going to make me read the book. Well, she demanded. Ma'am, I don't. Your time is up, she hissed. Then the weirdest thing happened. Her eyes began to glow like barbecue coals. Her fingers stretched, turning into talons. Her jacket melted into large, leathery wings. She wasn't human. She was a shriveled hag with bat wings and claws and a mouth full of yellow fangs. And she was about to slice me to ribbons. Then things got even stranger. Mr. Brunner, who'd been out in front of the museum a minute before, wheeled his chair into the doorway of the gallery, holding a pen in his hand. What ho, Percy, he shouted, and tossed the pen through the air. Mrs. Dodds lunged at me. With a yelp, I dodged and felt talons slash the air next to my ear. I snatched the ballpoint pen out of the air, but when it hit my hand, it wasn't a pen anymore. It was a sword, Mr. Brunner's bronze sword, which he always used on tournament day. Mrs. Dodd spun toward me with a murderous look in her eyes. My knees were jelly. My hands were shaking so bad that I almost dropped the sword. She snarled, "Die, honey!" And she flew straight at me. Absolute terror ran through my body. I did the only thing that came naturally. I swung the sword. The metal blade hit her shoulder and passed clean through her body as if she were made of water. Hiss! Mrs. Dodds was a sandcastle on a power fan. She exploded into yellow powder, vaporized on the spot, leaving nothing but the smell of sulfur and a dying screech and a chill of evil in the air, as if those two glowing red eyes were still watching me. I was alone. There was a ballpoint pen in my hand. Mr. Brunner wasn't there. Nobody was there but me. My hands were still trembling. My lunch must have been contaminated with magic mushrooms or something. Had I imagined the whole thing? I went back outside. It had started to rain. Grover was sitting by the fountain, a museum map tented over his head. Nancy Bobofit was still there, soaked from her swim in the fountain, grumbling to her ugly friends. When she saw me, she said, "I hope Mrs. Kerr whipped your butt." I said, "Who?" "Our teacher, duh." I blinked. We had no teacher named Mrs. Kerr. I asked Nancy what she was talking about. She just rolled her eyes and turned away. I asked Grover where Mrs. Dodds was. He said, "Who?" But he paused first, and he wouldn't look at me, so I thought he was messing with me. "Not funny, man," I told him. "This is serious." Thunder boomed overhead. I saw Mr. Brunner, sitting under his red umbrella, reading his book, as if he'd never moved. I went over to him. He looked up, a little distracted. "Ah, that would be my pen. Please, bring your own writing utensil in the future, Mr. Jackson." I handed Mr. Brunner his pen. I hadn't even realized I was still holding it. "Sir," I said, "where's Mrs. Dodds?" He stared at me blankly. "Who?" "The other chaperone, Mrs. Dodds, the pre-algebra teacher." He frowned and sat forward, looking mildly concerned. "Percy, there is no Mrs. Dodds on this trip. As far as I know, there has never been a Mrs. Dodds at Yancey Academy. Are you feeling all right?"